And I can't delete Flappy Bird.
I mean that's
you know,
you know you have standards.
right. I
We're
mean,
not monsters. I mean,
it's also like a couple hundred megs or whatever. It's not, it ain't the end of the world.
but it could be.
Well, it could be, but not because of Flappy Bird being on or off my iPad.
Well, not with that attitude.
Oh,
I gotta get it in there one time. There we are.
only
Oh, was that
one?
all? Yeah, was it?
Only once. I haven't been saying it as much. Which the wife is happy about. She was tired of it. And I told her that you all thought it was funny. She's like, "Why are they encouraging you?" I'm like, "Well, they're my friends. I don't know." Like, we encourage each other.
What if you just started saying with that attitude, like in theoretically appropriate times?
I guess that would work, but I never really.
Maybe with that attitude. How about that?
Maybe, possibly with that attitude. I don't. It doesn't really
Yeah.
flow
No.
quite as well. But I'll tinker. It's fine.
Is
I'll
now a
tinker.
good time for me to start playing with that Logitech software?
I noticed that you just zoomed in really close. I figured that you were.
But then now I can't do. Okay, hold on.
Ah,
Whoa!
There we go.
Wow!
Whoa! Ooh.
Whoa!
you getting an eye exam here tonight?
There's a whole lot of bend.
Hold on,
there.
but like it. I don't know. This is weird. I can't seem to get back. Like I'm in the app, but then like I lost the ability to. Okay, there we go.
Be in the app, not of the app.
Be the app. Uh-oh.
That's just turning.
Is that a
it into
landline phone?
Yep, that is.
Do you have to like do your daughters kind of look at it and go, what?
Well, actually, the youngest is the only one. She doesn't have a cell phone, so that's the only phone she really
Okay.
can use. So she'll get one next year when she goes to middle school. So
Every once in a while, because like the only landline phone that I really have access to is at the office.
Mhm.
And I just think about like if I misdial a number, like I'm 7 digits in and I'm like, and then you got to hang up and try again. I'm like, this is a cell phone. I could just hit backspace and then continue typing and then hit send. It's like,
or just talk to nobody at all. I mean, that also
oh no,
that's also an option.
I talk to dozens of people a day
Oh,
most days.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
A lot of people. Sometimes dozens, but
Sometimes dozens. All right. We ready to get this road on the show?
Ready to rumble?
Something like that.
So what was the thing ultimately? Tiny said maybe or no.
No, he's not going to make it. So
Okay.
yeah, and I blame him. That's I don't know what that means, but All right.
You hold him responsible for his actions.
Solely responsible for his own actions.
Well, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt accurate. It felt right. So yeah. All right, enough about all that. September 25th, this GameEnthus podcast episode 389. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Mike is also here.
Yeah, I'm just realizing how close we're getting to 400. Excuse me.
We are. We should pretend that we're going to do something for it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Wait a minute. Are we making? It's... yeah, this year. Yeah, before the year's over.
Yeah, I guess we would. Yeah, I guess we would make it, wouldn't we?
I guess so. It depends on what the.
I mean, unless we skip a bunch or whatever.
Which
could happen around the holidays.
might happen next week.
Okay.
But that's not the point.
No. Gotcha.
No, we'll see. Yeah, but we are definitely close. So, but we're always here. At least most of us. But Tiny is taking care of some family stuff, so he won't be joining us, unfortunately. But we do have Ben, our good friend Ben, here to do a really good impression of Tiny. I won't put you on the spot, but if you go ahead and just do your Tiny impression, we'd all be appreciative.
I mean, I don't know what.
I wouldn't know either.
I don't even know.
Just say something about Extra Life and
Yeah,
how some guy
exactly.
fished for 24 hours.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't
Now,
even
I'm
know.
not going to even try. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. Like,
Make fun of board games or something like that. I don't
you
know.
know.
That's something
You
he
mean
would do.
you mean BORED board games right now?
He did say that quite a bit last year.
Yeah.
We had a
He
great
was
time.
he was he was saying that he was saying when I saw him that he thinks that you want to go even harder on board games during Extra Life this year. And I was like,
I do.
last year was, I mean, how much more could you do? I mean, last year you had a whole table and streaming set up for board games. Like, how can
Yeah.
you do more?
I
You can have like a ceiling cam, like
well,
overhead. You're gonna do tutorials, and
well,
you need to get a manicure or something, or what?
well, that's um. I mean, the setup worked fine. Maybe some small tweaks, but maybe more than 3 or 4 hours of them. I don't know. If
So
people
what
are
you're saying is
interested,
Tiny's correct.
yes, he is very much correct.
Are you who are you playing these games with?
I guess that therein lies the rub. I won Monopoly again.
I mean, 3 to 4 hours is a pretty significant chunk out of a 24-hour period.
That is. That is.
So
But you can always do more. I mean, it's you can always do more.
Well, just practice lines like, now if I had an opponent, this is what they may have done.
If I didn't know what their hand was, I might, like,
you should just play chess against yourself.
um, no. I mean, you like board games. You have some you like to play. I mean, we'll work it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Also, it'd be easier to stay awake looking at people conversing, wouldn't it? They're looking at a screen. Don't you think it'd be easier to stay awake?
Maybe.
If I'm tired, I'm tired. It doesn't matter
True, but
who's in front of me or what exactly I'm doing.
all right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, man, tell us what have you been up to lately? What have you been doing?
Well, I recently was at this past weekend the Too Many Games inaugural game swap up in Bluebell, Pennsylvania,
Yep.
with Tiny and Mike. We set up a booth up there to basically empty our basements. It was pretty interesting because I think we were the only people that had bought a table that was not a regular vendor because
So this is just too many games, like the regular too many
light.
games.
It's like Too Many Games light.
Oh, it's much smaller.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's much smaller, but I took a walk around a couple of times and every booth that was there was like a vendor. It was a business.
Right.
And we were like the only one where I mean we had people come up to us and be like, "Oh, where do you get all this stuff?"
Where's your store?
Like
Right.
we had one guy before the event opened. It opened at 10 o'clock,
Mhm.
but we were there earlier to set up. As Mike is like labeling his games, right? We had one guy come up and start like looking through my stuff, and I had already labeled a lot of it, and I have a fair amount of sealed games, and he was like,
Yeah, you do.
"Where'd you get all these sealed games?" I was like, "I bought them and didn't play them."
Exactly.
Deep.
And yeah, so it was interesting, but it was a really good event. Way more successful than I thought it would be in terms of selling stuff. I think I think a bunch of our customers were, we had some kind of just regular people, but we also had, I think, a bunch of vendors that looked at our stuff and was like, "Oh, I need to get some of that to sell at more than you're selling it for," which
Right.
I was okay with. I was overall pretty happy with the prices that I sold things for. But it was a nice event. I mean, one day, not pretty inexpensive, a little far, but it's the perfect event I feel like for like somebody like us where we wouldn't spend the money to buy a table for 3 days and have to man it like for 8 or 10 hours each day,
That's a lot.
right?
Is it a lot of work? It sounds like it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So
That would have been this wasn't too bad. I
oh
mean,
yeah, this wasn't bad at all.
setup,
Okay.
breakdown, yeah, it was quite reasonable.
Yeah, and then of course Tiny with he's a pro at going to these conventions, right? He had like
He
a hand,
is.
he had a collapsible like little hand truck thing, and he was tablecloth, and he was ready to go. So, he's done this before,
Get a
right?
top hat and magic wand. He was
Yeah.
all set.
So yeah, no, it was good. I came away more than positive, so was happy about that, and would be interested in finding kind of the right type of event again, provided I have enough inventory, which I'm sure I do.
I
Um,
have no doubt that you have enough stuff.
I've actually been downsizing the last couple of years. Like I've been buying a lot less. Um,
You stopped buying joysticks. That's one.
yeah, but
You
then I
stopped that
kind of
years ago, though.
yeah, but then I started just buying joystick adapters, and so they're smaller at least. But now I have the ability to basically hook up a joystick to any system. So, like for example, I have an Xbox 360 joystick. I have a PS3/PS4 joystick, um, and I have enough adapters now that I can hook up the any of the both of those joysticks to an Xbox One, a Switch, PS3, or a PS4.
These are the Mayflash devices. Is that what they are?
These are the Brooks devices.
Brooks. Okay.
So I think the thing about those is they're quote unquote tournament legal. I mean, I don't know who uses them at tournaments, but they've gotten a pretty good,
It's a good
um,
bullet point.
yeah, they've gotten a pretty good reputation, at least from what I know. So yeah, but yeah, so would definitely like to do that again. But that was probably the big event. MagFest registration came and went. I mean, I guess it's still ongoing for people that want. We were fortunate enough to secure some hotel rooms, and win the hotel lottery. Not at the Gaylord, but right nearby. So, pretty excited about that for our team, or our group of people.
Yeah, that I was. Well, you met my friend Will, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to get a room for he and his
Oh,
wife,
forget about it.
and I reminded him like, hey, I think that I said like I think on Thursday, I think like today's the day you have to like make sure you're in the queue to get a thing. And he forgot. Well, actually,
Oh
no
man.
no he bought his badge the
After.
day after, or maybe it was right before. I said, don't forget. I should have reminded him again, because then he was trying to find like he said, how do you get a hotel room? And then he said like he went to their face. He went to like the MagFest
Oh,
Facebook page,
it's
and it was
bad.
like
It
a
was bad.
comment that happened to mention a link for hotels after.
I had tickets available. I had tickets available. I mean, I
Yeah,
still do, I guess, but
but yeah he
um,
was not happy. He was like, yeah, he's like, what's going on? He said now all these sites are pointing me to like hotels in downtown Alexandria.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, well, that might not be too bad. I said, are there shuttles? He said, I have no idea.
No, there's
He did
no,
There's
not
there's
think there were
Ubers.
any shuttles at all. I'm
no.
like,
I don't believe there's a shuttle.
No.
like not one
It
has a
is a
shuttle.
pretty to
It's
Gaylord.
not that close though. I mean, it is and it
Well, it
isn't.
is close. I mean, you're just going over the bridge. It's only like a $5 or $10 Uber, but
That's not too
uh,
bad.
well, maybe not $5. I don't think anything's $5, but
10, 12, maybe.
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not far, but you're not there. And
Right.
that's the biggest appeal, right, of Magfest, that it's the only you know con that I'm aware of that's 24/7, right?
It
And
really
that's
Right.
is. We did laser tag this year at Mac.
Well, 20, I don't know, 24/7, 24 like 4 or whatever.
right, right.
Yes,
Yes, right, right.
yes.
24 hours a day for however long it's going on.
Right.
Exactly.
It never
Yeah.
shuts down all year long.
Yeah, there's always some stuff. There's that open mic room. People just up there. I mean, it literally is.
Well, I mean, even the vendors, they're like, vendors, you guys can stay open as late as you want if you want to man it. Like that's, so you'll find vendors that are open late, right? Because they want to sell. Not that I would do that, but that's kind of crazy. But MagFest has just gotten so popular, right? And I mean, the vendor application. So this happened about maybe like a month ago. They opened up their vendor applications,
Hmm.
and they said we're gonna take. They said we're gonna take 500 applications, and that's it. And so they gave an advance notice. They said, applications are opening up, a week or 2 weeks from now, or whatever. And guess what happened? Site went live. 500 vendor applications were done like that. And the
Yep.
site started crashing, and people were like, I couldn't get anything in, and they were unhappy, and so on and so forth. And so, when the hotel stuff came around, especially given some of the fiascos in the previous years, I was happy we just got what we needed to get. But plenty of people, if you look on whatever Reddit or
Oh no, they're not happy, and I get it.
or
Yeah.
in their Discord, that just I read one person, and obviously you don't know it's true, but he said we had 20 people trying to get hotel rooms and we got like two.
There
And
was a
so
guy on Twitter. I know him. I've met him.
yeah,
He got into the Gaylord. He's like I loaded it up. 5 minutes later, I got in and got a room in
yeah.
the Gaylord. I'm like,
Well,
wow.
had I been able to use one of the registrations that we had,
Hmm.
there was a little bit of a snag there. I could have gotten a room at the Gaylord.
Yeah, I could have. I had the option, but we kind of agreed that the Hampton,
Yeah,
if we got the rooms in the same place,
it does
just
Yeah,
make sense.
would
You're
work.
right.
You
It's
know,
and the
cheaper
rooms,
too,
it's cheaper. The rooms are bigger. They include
and getting
breakfast.
to the room is easier.
Yeah, so
yeah,
you
those
deal with
those
Yeah,
hotel or the
the elevator
elevators are
fiascos. Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
you have to go down to go up. But yeah. So, anyways, Magfest coming up. Earlier this year, or earlier in the year, than normal. I think January 2nd, I believe it
Right
starts.
after New Year's, which is
Yeah.
wow.
So, anyways, looking forward to that. Looking forward to catching up with people. But yeah, those are the main things going on with me.
Since we're talking about MagFest, I was going to mention because I've been doing the indie judging for so many years. One
Yep.
year I made a mistake and somehow made it like a staff member account. So
Oh,
I get all
okay.
this. I get a lot of the staff emails.
Still.
Yeah, still.
Oh.
Like, and they sent me a login. I'm like, I don't do anything with it because I'm not a staff member.
Well,
But
maybe you are because you're a judge.
no, I think that's separate. Yeah.
Use
I,
that to your advantage. I would.
it's funny. I thought of it. I was like, what can I do with it? I'm like, I can't do anything with this. Well, I got one today. Basically, for the staff, they're having a mini. I think it's called MagCon. They have an event for staff for planning purposes,
Right.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
midway through October.
They stream some of that stuff actually
Do
sometimes.
they? I didn't
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
that.
I've seen that. Yeah.
It's not a secret. Yeah, that's the
It is not a secret, but we all can go now because I got it. No, I'm kidding. So
you got admission to the Stonecutters
I
meeting.
got the
You're
hookup.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made, we all made Steve Gutenberg a star in the 80s. That was all, it's all us. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So that's me.
All right. Mike, how about you?
So mostly the same as what Ben just said.
Word for
I mean
word.
the only I mean more or less, he said pretty much all of it, but we did ride together. Ben came up to my house at 7 a.m. As did another friend, Brett, who goes to some of these things.
Hey, Brett. We
As
got him
well.
on the show. Where's Brett?
Yeah, he apparently plays a lot of hockey. We discussed it briefly, and
I didn't
he
tell him to
said
do that. That wasn't part of the deal.
it's not part of the deal. But
Like you
yeah,
are
we took
Jason?
off and made good time. Took the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and I guess one of these days I'll look in my Easy Pass account and figure out how much exactly I spent in tolls doing that.
It's really easy to do that, at least in Maryland. The
Oh,
Maryland side is fairly
it's
simple.
it's fine. I just don't remember what my login credentials are most of the time. But yeah, it's a different site, and they I swear they try to make it like, oh, all you need to know is how much money is currently in your account and when we take new money.
Let me ask you a question. How much should they take when you get to like whatever the threshold
I think it's
is?
35.
You
They-
can set it. You can set it.
They take
Probably.
45 in Maryland, don't they, Ben? That's what they take from me.
I mean, I take the tolls every day because
Oh,
of my job. So, I have my replenishment set a little bit higher just because I go through so much.
I don't do it as much,
But
but
you can set it actually. I think in terms of
I don't.
at what level it goes to, and I think like I can't remember what mine is at, but you can there are definitely things you can play
I
with.
thought there was a 25 one, and then I'm like, why is it 45? Maybe it always was 45. I just don't remember it being.
I don't know. I don't pay that much attention because it's kind of just like, unless I saw multiple charges on my credit card in 1 month,
You don't care.
at that point I'd be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? The rest of the time it's like, yeah, whatever. I use it here and there, but yeah, like Ben said, we got there with less time to spare than I kind of realized. I mean, like we had time to set up and everything, and I had a vague idea of the value of stuff, but I was like, yeah, I'll have like a half an hour to label stuff, and it really didn't take that long. But as soon as we started laying stuff down, people were sniffing around like bloodhounds. It was like, what do you got? What do you got? What is this?
You got some of that gray plastic? Some of that gray plastic?
Yeah.
Like
just
can
calm
I?
down.
Well, it was other vendors, right?
Well, yeah, those people, I think it was pretty obvious that they were, because why else? They're not. No one was allowed in there, but other
right.
people who bought vendor space. But they're fishing for deals already, and it's like, dude, we haven't even opened yet. Like, how much of a deal you want? Nobody else has even had a chance to offer me full price yet.
Like the tablecloth is all you can see. You want to buy that? Sure.
Right.
Okay.
20% off. Okay. But yeah, like once we got going, I was just amazed by the level of traffic and how things just kind of went. One of the more memorable people who stopped by to purchase something was the couple who got engaged at the last Too Many Games event. If Aaron, I don't know if you were around for this, but they announced like the Too Many Games like at one of the raffles.
One of the raffles.
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Over the loudspeaker. They set it all up.
She said maybe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Apparently, it's at least my understanding is it's planned to happen.
It's real.
But they were like super excited, and it's like like when you have multiple decades worth of stuff and sometimes really weird stuff, people are interested. It's almost like a museum, and I was giving away some kind of unimportant stuff and selling some other like old computer games for like $1 to $5 a piece, depending on what they were.
Yeah, apparently nobody wanted the ones that I was trying to sell that you gave me like 6 years ago.
Yeah, that was something. I kept telling Ben and Tiny, I was like,
that looks familiar.
That's my sister's handwriting on top of that Jones in the Fastlane box.
Yeah. No, I think you had some of the more unique stuff there, right? Like you just had some like a grab box of just like random
some random stuff, and I just by the time it was over, I got rid of almost everything. I really only took home like one little box, and
that's pretty good.
But you got rid of that computer.
I did. I gave away a computer, which I was hoping somebody would take, but I also figured I might be dragging it home or looking for a dumpster on the way. I don't know. But somebody was, in fact, a couple of people asked about it, but somebody was like, all right, I'll take it. Is a 2006 era machine with no hard drive or operating system. But otherwise works.
Deal there is.
If you want to tinker, there it is. Tinker away.
Yeah.
But the one thing when I got home, so I was like super jazzed about all of this, and then on Sunday I just started like making a new box of additional stuff. So I'm going through, but one thing I discovered, I had a physical copy of the first Jackbox Party Pack for Xbox One, and I had put $4 on it, and nobody bid, so I marked it down to 3 and then to 2. Turns out it goes for like $30.
Really?
So, because I guess it's not that common or something, like even open or whatever.
Interesting.
So I'm glad nobody bought it, because now I can ask more for next time, or drop it on eBay or something. Like people are actually buying it for that price, not just asking. So that's cool. But yeah, I'd love to do something similar, but it's really the perfect situation because it's not expensive, traffic is good, it's the kind of place where people know the kind of stuff that they're looking for. Like if we tried this at like a regular flea market, no, it wouldn't. People are looking for like t-shirt rags and memorabilia from like NASCAR and oddball stuff.
Brett did mention like the game or toy.
Oh, the toy, yeah, right, at the fairgrounds that there's some video game vendors. I mean that could be something to look at.
Right. I feel I'm worried that like we had such a good event that like everything from now on will just be downhill.
Right. It's possible.
So
it's very possible. But yeah, I'd love to get rid of some more things, but at the same time, if I get rid of too much, at some point I'm gonna be like, oh, I wish I didn't sell that. But
Yeah, but
I
then
mean,
you just look at the wad of cash you
You're
have.
like, yeah.
well, yeah, except for when it's gone. It's been spent. It's like I was saying, what I really should do, and I haven't even, I got to get to the bank, but like what I really need to do is just like put it right into the principal on the new car. So
Right.
that'd be the smart play. But yeah, like stuff like sealed PS1 games. I'm like, I've owned this since this was a brand new game that I pre-ordered, and I haven't played it up to this point. Like, it isn't gonna happen.
That means you're
Right,
that means you're
exactly.
destined to play it then, obviously.
Yeah, like,
So I'm not really missing anything.
I sold not only a sealed copy of Dragon Quest VIII for the PS2,
Mm-hmm.
I also sold my 3DS copy of Dragon Quest VIII.
I was happy that NES, the first version of the NES 8-bit Dole controller thing sold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I had no use
It made
for
me
that.
wish I had brought mine to sell.
Yeah.
But
So.
You guys can tell me, be honest with me, everybody pretty much huddled around the stuff I had to sell, right? And
Yeah.
That was like on a separate table that I wasn't really
I'll
watching.
just say that the amount of money that you made is directly proportionate to the quality of stuff you brought.
I deserve that.
And in fact, Kathy just asked me, she's like, is that box in the hallway Aaron stuff? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I was going to ask you to move it down to the basement. And I was like, well, I probably should because I don't know when Aaron's getting it back.
No, actually, the wife and I are going to head back to the playground to finish our pottery.
Oh, okay.
So maybe...
So I should just leave it on the porch, and
if you're not home,
whatever happens, like
leave it on the porch on Halloween, and just let trick or treaters grab things.
I think we're going back.
I just like take one only.
Take one.
I think we're
or two.
Going back there on the 4th, so it pretty soon.
4th of October. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're home, we'll say hello and raid your fridge. If you're not, then So
yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Have you been to the playground before?
I have walked past it.
Oh. Have you ever made pottery before? You were the wife?
I have not made pottery before.
You should make some pottery. You could walk there. It's really nice. It's fun.
Yeah, well, not really walk there, but yes, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, you might not, but it's close.
But I have no interest in making pottery.
But you don't know because you never made it before.
Because then I already have too much stuff in my house. That's just another thing that I can't sell.
Oh, you might be able to sell it.
It's more about the experience.
I'm good.
There's a poster of Patrick Swayze to be more from Ghost on the wall.
I think that belongs in every pottery
it probably
store, right?
is.
Yeah.
So when you try to make like a pitcher or something like that, and it just sags, you're like, it's an ashtray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
a vase.
I'll try to recreate Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast, and it'll be Mrs. Lump.
Should be voiced by Angela Lansbury as well.
Mrs. Pile of like uncured clay.
Yeah.
It's also much more difficult. I mean, I know it'll be difficult, but it is definitely a skill to get that done correctly. So
Sure.
But you'll find out when you go and let me know how much fun you and your wife have. So
yeah. I'll get right on that.
Or not. The guy from the Record Exchange, I think he might have recognized me, but I'm not sure.
So his store moved. I didn't realize he had moved like a little bit farther into the middle.
Yeah, it's a better spot. It's definitely a better spot, than further up.
So I didn't realize. I tried to go in there one day, but he said like he was closed, but he had a sign saying like I'm getting some coffee or whatever, but he was gone for like at least 30 minutes, so I don't know.
He got a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
He's out to lunch.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad that he opened back up. I did not think he was going to, quite frankly.
I didn't either. And then there's a board game store there too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This is Old Town.
Yeah.
Historic
Ellicott City you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
So very nice.
Yes, historic, not Old Town.
Well, I've said that before too.
And I only ended up at the GameSwap. I only ended up buying one thing. So
other than snacks, I did spend $4 on a soda, water, some crackers, and the mandatory 5 pieces of Twizzler.
And this is, you were there all day? That's
Yeah.
all you ate?
And I didn't even eat breakfast. Like, that's how busy we were. Like, we were just moving.
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of lull at one point, and I don't know, like
Right.
2 o'clock or something.
Yeah, like the first hour and a half was like really, really busy.
Yeah.
But all other vendors,
Well, like, yeah,
I'm just kind of surprised by that. I feel like as much crap as we all buy, I'm surprised there were more people that were just like us.
Now, they did have a couple of tables set up for swapping. And so
okay.
what people did was they would go to the table and then just like put all their stuff out there, like basically pretend to be a vendor. Like they just had like a small table, they put their stuff out, and then people would walk by, and then they'd be like, "Oh, hey, that's interesting. You know, do you want to trade for that or whatnot?" So there was like a little bit of an area for that. Obviously, we didn't really spend much time there or take a look to see how active it was, but
hey, that looks like a
one of the
pinky
guys
from a Power Glove.
yeah, but one of the
need
guys from the guy that the couple that had gotten engaged at Too Many Games over the summer, he said that it was pretty good. Like they traded some stuff, and you know they found some stuff. So yeah, I assume it was overall a pretty successful event. I know they sold out all of their tables.
That's good.
So
Yeah, we also got like a primo spot,
yeah,
like lots
thank
of
Tiny for
space on
that.
the end. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, the first guy that bought something from me that was kind of like expensive. It was a sealed copy of, I think he bought the sealed copy of Wind Waker that I had. And,
Oh.
and he was the vendor directly across from us. So he just walks over, opens his case, and drops it in, and then sits back down.
He came back to buy like
yeah,
more
he
stuff
did
later,
come back,
right?
but yeah, a lot of them kept
This
coming
is
back.
GameCube Wind Waker, or
yeah, I had pre-ordered GameCube Wind Waker, never took the shrink wrap off of it, and then was able to sell it for, you know.
I think I have a Breath of the Wild for Wii U somewhere around here.
That, in fact, that same guy got my old iPhone, which I basically gave to him for free for buying the Wind Waker and something else. I don't remember.
Yeah, you sold.
I wanted that iPhone.
Stuff.
Yeah. So AT&T, or are you gonna try to like brute force unlock it or whatever? I don't know how that works.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that does remind me of one odd story. There was, while the phone was sitting there, only like 3 or 4 people even looked at it, but there was this group of 3 like young women who walked up, and they honest to God, they seemed like they were high to me.
Okay, and maybe you were high.
But the one picks it up and says, "Is this the first ever iPhone?" And I was like, "No, it's a 5S." That's why
sure.
That's why I wrote it's a 5S on the paper that it's sitting on. And I said, but you know, it's totally clear. You know, all you need is a SIM card, and you're good to go. And she says to me, "I don't use SIM, I use app." I was like, okay.
What?
Yep. I don't know. So there you go. I don't know.
You got it.
Whatever. Yep.
We're good.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, needless to say, they didn't buy anything. But yeah. Again, it was good. But yeah, I really didn't do a whole lot else other than what I just mentioned. So, Aaron, what have you been doing?
Well, the reason I was unable to go is the pastor of the church that Tracy, I grew up in. He passed away. He was 92, 93. So he was up there. He also, he married us as well back in 2003.
Yeah, that was a cool picture you shared. So I was kind of gave extra context.
Him and Martin Luther King, and there's a lot of history there. I mean,
I saw like some of the pictures that Tracy posted, and she was talking about like a lot of the like people that were at. It was like a lot of people were there.
Yeah, I mean, like Ayanna Presley was there. Just some context. He planned everything. Like he had everything down to like the most minute detail of who he wanted to talk, what order. I mean, everything. So I mean, like Michael Dukakis was there, Ayanna Pressley was there, Louis Farrakhan was there. It was big. But he touched a lot of people. So it was a good service. It was very long. There were a lot of sections of people, obviously talking and giving remarks, and then another section of people talking and giving remarks. But it was good. So, that's the reason I was not able to go to too many games. So
when you drove up and back, right?
Yeah.
And you went up Friday?
Yeah, Friday night. And you all know me. You know I fall asleep once it's like 10 o'clock. So I had an iced coffee from, I guess, McDonald's, and I was in a zone, so I just drove because I'm like, it's dark, I'm tired. Take this wheel, take the pedals. But so that worked out.
But then you came back on Sunday.
Yeah, the wife drove back on Sunday. So
okay.
Yeah, so we
a lot of driving.
A lot of driving, but it was, it's like weddings and funerals. You see a lot of people when she caught up with a lot of, people she hadn't seen in a very long time. So those are one of the events where those things happen. So it was good. And I want to thank you all for being willing to sell some of my wares at Too Many Games GameSwap, because I know that was extra work. That was just more stuff to look at and be concerned about. So I appreciate it.
It's true. When Ben showed up at the house and I'm helping him take the stuff from his car and put it in mine, I said, "Is this trash bag going?" I was like, oh yeah, GameStop bag. Okay, whatever.
Is this a bag of dead rats? I don't know. So, are we gonna sell these?
So I'm carrying your bag from the car into which actually was a much longer walk than I assumed we'd be like pulling right up to the door kind of, but that's not how it was at all. And I'm carrying it. With every step, I can feel the handles of the bag stretch a little bit more, and I was wondering if it was even gonna make it all the way there. But yeah, when it was unloaded, I looked. There was a colossal hole in the bottom of the bag.
So half of the stuff was lost anyway. Hey, we're off.
It fell into a storm drain,
Yeah, that Picasso that you had in the bag.
Right.
It's kind of gone.
We had those drop mix cards sold because I bought dupes for some reason. So
they did. Yeah, no, the drop mix cards sold. In fact, we had more than one person wanted to buy them. Actually.
No.
Yeah, I kind of cared about that for like a month, and I was like, I don't care. It's fun, but it's not that fun.
Yeah, there was a guy there that runs a con. I think he said up in northern Jersey. I don't know which con it was. I'm sure Tony knows.
Oh, was that the guy that was interested in the guitars?
Yeah, he ended up buying the Guitar Hero live.
So I
have two of those in my garage.
I looked.
I have 0 of them now.
Lucky you.
I didn't realize any of this, but looking when I was looking around for values and stuff, whatever, I came across apparently the 2 guitar bundle actually is worth something, much more so than the single guitar one that they were selling at Five Below.
Okay.
Those guitars that are like double guitars?
No, I mean I looked online and I saw some auctions that supposedly were high value, but at the same time, like, as I was telling Aaron before we started, I wanted to bring stuff that I could also just get rid of, that I didn't have to ship. I mean, that thing right there is a pain to ship.
Sure.
And so I was happy to get rid of it. You know what I mean? It was, maybe I didn't sell it for as much as it technically was worth, but that's okay.
Well, I say it because I felt like I was encouraging you to be like, just keep dropping the price. I think I dropped Five Below's name about 12 times while we were there.
Well, you should have heard Tiny when he was trying, or I don't even know what he was trying to do, but people would come up and be like, "What is this Wii Mini?"
The Wii.
Oh yeah.
And Tiny would be like, the Wii, but take away the backwards compatibility and the internet access and the SD card piece. That's what the Wii Mini is. And I was like, Tiny, are you trying to sell this or not? And so,
did he sell
honestly,
I don't think so. I don't.
Because I still kind of want it, just because.
But really, like at
I
this
don't know
point,
why.
the only real difference, because there is no online functionality of the Wii
True.
anymore anyway. So it's just it can't play GameCube stuff, and I guess the
Oh
SD
yeah.
card is sort of like what can you do with it without the internet? Photos, save games for
So
GameCube
okay,
stuff or
on
something.
Excite Truck, you could put MP3s onto an SD card, throw it
Oh,
in, and then play
really?
them. Oh yeah, I
That's
thought
pretty
that was
weird.
great. I don't know why I was so excited about that, but I thought it was great at the time.
Yes, I mean it's an interesting piece of nostalgia.
Yeah. And
So
did it come out here? Or was it just Canada?
it was released here, but it was more popular in Canada, I
And
believe.
by
Well,
popular, you
it did come
mean
out there
what?
first,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But
and I think
it
that
did
is
come
what
out in
he
the US.
has.
Yeah, he
I
has a
think that's
Canadian version.
right.
Is there any difference? But I mean, it's still NTSC,
Yeah,
It
right?
just probably
some
has more
French.
French on it.
We. We. I just got my own joke. Here we go. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, it's crossed over 10. You're about ready to fall asleep. Oh wait, that's me.
All right. Well, in the interest of that, let me keep moving. Had a chance to play. Do you remember we played Sushi Go at MagFest last year? Did we play Sushi Go?
I
We
think we
tried.
did. I think we did.
I'd never wrap my head around it.
It's not that complex, Mike.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't understand.
It was also like midnight, so I understand. Yeah. Anyway, I was at my cousin's and my cousin Sydney, and she had Sushi Go party, and it was unopened, and so we cracked that thing open, and that's a fantastic game. Same basic, gameplay as Sushi Go, where you have a hand, and then you put a card in front of you, reveal it, and then you pass your hand to the left. So your hand it's not really your hand; it's a communal hand. It's fantastic though. It takes that base game, it just adds. You can make the game really a lot more difficult, a lot more strategy. It's nice to have all those options with it. So gonna be tough to go back and play the base game because Sushi Go Party is so much better. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So yeah. What else? I put up a video for the Exceed Street Fighter card game. That's the first one of those I've ever done. I'll get better, I hope. It's not great, but I don't know. I got some good feedback from Wolfkin and Book of Nerds. So I let them see it first. Oh no, it's good. You should put it out. I was like, all right. If you guys think it's good, then I'll put it out there. So it's a fun game. It's not just hard to convey like the fun of something when you're just describing it. And
How long was the video?
about 20 minutes.
Okay, that's a good length.
I probably could have been a little tighter, but like I said, and the thing is, I did it more than once. Like I recorded like 4 of them, and that was the best one. Because the other ones were like, I can't release this. Like,
Don't have like any B-roll or behind the scenes. You know.
that's the behind the scenes is me hitting my head against the wall, going stupid, stupid, stupid. That's the B-roll right there. So yeah, and then I'm just gonna say the blowing of whistles. This is a topical
What?
thing. This is like
Huh?
Are you a whistleblower?
no, I am not. But just if you think about that term and what's going on right now,
Oh,
it's,
okay,
Right.
okay.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you are actually referencing. I was like, is
Yeah.
this the name
I
of
was
a
like-
game?
I thought
No.
this was like, was there something that went on at the funeral? Like,
I know it took a real turn. It was just like I'm just normally we don't get to this stuff a whole lot, but just normally when someone denies something and then says that they want evidence to be released, normally that evidence does not completely back up what the accusations were to begin with.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
well,
you would
Here
think.
we
yeah.
are.
We'll see what happens.
Very
Yeah,
little,
You know what I mean?
honestly.
Like, yeah.
yeah, I
you know,
don't.
so.
I expect very little. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is also
Right. Maybe
really,
some formalities. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, or at least, I mean, I think that the whole symbolic thing is to force people to say, okay, if you're saying, you make people say, okay, are you really supporting this? Like with all this coming out there, you're still okay with it. If you're going to go on the record to say that, okay, fine, but now, I mean, we know you already are okay with it, but now you're formally saying, yeah, I'm fine with this. This is
There's
fine.
plenty of people who are just in denial.
Yeah.
And
Are
and
they
are
though?
happy to be. Oh yeah. Or are
Yeah.
just happy to be in
They're not
denial.
in-
They're like,
like
I
they
don't
know.
believe any of
They
that.
just don't care. They
I'll-
know.
I'll-
Ah,
I need to
Maybe.
point. I need to point you to something that I read a while back. That does a pretty interesting correlation um, between, was it Louisiana, where was it David Duke ran for some kind of public office? Governor.
Yeah.
Right. And wasn't he technically like the Republican nominee?
Yeah.
Because like I think it was.
Not technically.
Anyways, this is getting
He was
a little deep, but in the weeds. But I think he was the Republican nominee. He won the Republican nomination fair and square, but the Republican Party didn't want to have anything to do with him. Like
because
at the time,
he was a former Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Right. But he was on the ballot as the Republican nominee.
Yep.
And there was a really long, not really long, but there was a kind of an interesting discussion, I think, on Twitter where somebody was a former political, he was involved in kind of the goings on there during the election, and he talked about like the strategy, and he talked a bit about kind of what went on and kind of correlations to kind of the next presidential election. So I don't want to go into it in a lot of detail here, but it was really interesting in terms of his discussions about election strategy and what is effective, what isn't effective. Because if the ultimate goal is to win, there are certain things that you should spend your time and energy doing, and certain things that maybe aren't worth your time and energy. And so, anyways, I thought that was really interesting.
Right, from a pure strategic standpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you're right. But then you enter. But you have to factor that and bounce it off of the realities of like, laws and the rule of law, like what that actually means and the precedents that you set.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yes, it is.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
Release it.
Yeah.
That's wow. Okay. I woke up this morning like, it's not going to say exactly what we thought it was going to. Yep, it does. So. And anyway. All right. The only feedback we got is I got a comment on a YouTube video for a game called Whipsy. And the comment was, "Hey, I met you at Too Many Games." and my first thought was like, well, no, you can't see me in this video. You can hear my voice. Do I sound like anyone else that you met? But like, clearly somebody stopped by the table and somebody talked about, or maybe Tiny talked about this. Somebody talked about something.
Yeah. Well, people asked who we were. They're like, "Oh, you guys have a store?"
Oh, you mean the game swap? Not. I thought you meant proper Too Many Games. I was like, I don't understand why this doesn't make any sense yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant the actual game swap.
Because people asked us that weekend, "Hey, who are you guys? Where are you guys from? Where do you have a store somewhere?" We're like, this is just
where can I pilfer more of your games at a significant discount?
I don't know if this is the person's real name, but the Arthur Skolnick comment, met you guys at Game Swap, had a great time chatting, loved the channel, you guys know your stuff. So I was like,
cool.
Yeah, I was like, that was small world, It's like that's kind of cool. I mean, I did reply. I said I wasn't there, but you probably talked to with my friends and co-hosts and stuff. So
yeah.
But unfortunately, I was not in attendance. But yeah, that's cool. Somebody mentioned GameEnthus. Somebody somewhere.
Yeah, I mean the engaged couple, I definitely pointed that out, but I didn't remember his name being Arthur.
Yeah, that's
my
the
memory could
thing.
be bad.
That might not even be the person's real name.
Yeah, no, there were a couple of people that asked that we tried to point to, like the podcast.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I meant to bring that piece of paper that I used in that stupid video I made with the Android tablet years ago. I still have that, and I meant to bring it, and I didn't. But yeah, we could have laid that out with the little logo on it.
For a second, I thought that person's name was a reference to the Revenge of the Nerd movies, but it was Louis Skolnick, not Arthur. So
Lewis sounds familiar. I don't know. I haven't watched Revenge of the Nerds movie in forever.
I've seen the fourth one more than any of the other ones because it was always on HBO.
I didn't even remember there being a fourth.
There might have been a fifth one.
Really?
Yeah.
Mission to Moscow.
That was Police Academy, my friend.
I remember there was
that was the seventh one.
Nerds in Paradise. I think that was 3, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, maybe that was the fourth one.
I don't know.
I mean, It doesn't feel like a series that I need to worry too much about.
You know what?
No,
We're gonna stop the show right now. We're gonna go watch Revenge of the Nerds, all 19 of
I
them.
don't. For some reason, I just get the feeling that that movie does not hold up
Oh,
very
I'm
well.
sure it does not. I'm sure it does not. Remember the name of the fraternity?
Tri-lambs.
Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. Yeah,
That's about it. That's yeah.
I figured you know. I mean, just why would you not? It's common
Mm,
knowledge. Not really.
common, right?
It's
No
common thing.
references needed.
None. All right, Ben. Good sir. What games have you been playing?
So there've been a lot of games that have been coming out
However,
that I own or have access to a subscription that has them. But I've decided to instead spend my time and money playing a game that came out 12 years ago called that's been re-released called World of Warcraft Classic.
I've heard of
Uh,
this game.
But it does
yeah.
still have its own subscription
So
model, right?
you have to be a subscriber to World of Warcraft. Um,
Oh, well,
so
that changes
to in
everything.
order to play the game.
Right.
So you do have to have a monthly subscription. There's no actual game to buy, but you need to be a subscriber to play it. And so
So it's
that's a
two for the
game.
price of one, technically.
No, because if you want to play what they call now retail, which is the current version of WoW, you need to have purchased the most recent expansion
Oh,
in addition to the subscription.
I don't like that.
Um,
That's
so
efficient.
yeah, which is how they've operated for the last 12 years. So,
Wait. So
um,
like you're just merrily playing along happily, don't care about the new expansion. All of a sudden, you can't play anymore unless you buy the new expansion.
you get locked out of content like Destiny, right?
Oh, okay.
Destiny 2, right?
Okay.
There's
Gotcha.
certain content you don't have access to anymore.
Sure.
Like I could log in and play whatever the most, whatever version of, I had up to the time. Um, but yeah, so I've been playing WoW Classic. It's been a wild ride. The game hasn't even been out, I think, for 30 days yet. Um, from you could just write so much about how the launch process has been, how much Blizzard kind of botched the whole server issues. I was playing on what was the PvP server called Herod, which is the most populated server in the game. And
Mhm.
when I say most populated, it means that
Dozens of people.
if you tried to log in at say 7 o'clock in the evening, what I would consider prime time, um, you would be put into a queue that might take you 2.5 hours to get through. Um, that's how popular the game, that server was. And the reason that server was so popular was because of how Blizzard really botched the launch in terms of the number of servers they released. So they released very few servers in the beginning. And so as a result, a bunch of servers got overcrowded. They also didn't release any servers in Latin America. So the community took it upon themselves to say this server is going to be the Brazilian server. And so a lot of people were going to play. A lot of Brazilian, Portuguese speaking people were going to play on that server. Um, this other server was going to be a streamer server, and so a lot of the big streamers that play World of Warcraft kind of decided to go to one server. But they released so few that you really didn't have many choices left. And so the server that I was on was kind of just, the basically kind of by default, the server that, people decided to choose. And so it's been plagued with queues and overcrowding since the very beginning.
That doesn't
Um,
sound good.
and so they offered server transfers, but people didn't want to transfer off servers because one of the issues that has plagued World of Warcraft over the years is that some servers have kind of died over time. Just less people started playing. Were playing, and so people were like, I don't want to be on a dead server, so I'm going to wait for other people to transfer before I, instead of transferring off this server. And so, I played, until for 3 weeks I played on that server. I learned a lot about remote desktoping in order to log in and essentially never log out of the game as much as I could in order to play. So that was probably exacerbating the server queue issues
Just a little bit.
until I decided to transfer about a week ago to another server. And now I don't have any queues at all, and I've transferred with a bunch of other people, and so it's been good. It's been interesting. I'm playing with some people that I have not been in touch with for over 10 years. We kind of we found each other a bit over the summer on Facebook, and so people that I used to play with many years ago. I'm catching up with some of them and playing with some of them.
So
So
with the over the summer, as you mentioned, with the imminent release,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like getting the band back together along the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say getting the band back together, but yeah, getting some people back together. So just to give you a little bit of context, I played a lot of World of Warcraft when it first came out. So
How many
the
hours a
game.
week about?
So for a period of about 2.5 years, I played it for an average of 40 hours a week.
And you had a full
Um,
time job, right?
I did have a full-time
How did
job.
you do that?
Um,
You weren't married,
I
right?
I was married. Um, but anyways, I didn't have any kids though. But yeah, so
Still.
it was yeah. So I played a lot of that game. I think it launched in like fall of 2015.
You said I am working.
Um, and so I put so much time into that game. I
50. Wait,
was
you must mean like 2005 or something.
sorry, 2005. Sorry.
Okay.
I put so much time into that game. I ran a pretty large guild for a long time, which had, probably at its peak, 80 to 100 people. We were doing 40-man raids. We were, everything was scheduled. We had our own, I guess we were using Ventrilo at the time because there was no voice
Wow.
chat. We were using Ventrilo at the time. I had my own forum set up. I had a whole DKP site set up, which, if you don't know what that is, it's called Dragon Kill Points, a way to kind of parse kind of the loot that you win, that you get out of a raid. And so, anyways, just had gone full into that game. And then I stopped and hadn't really played it since, I guess almost 10 years ago. So,
What got you
yeah.
to stop? Like was it cold
Oh,
turkey or
well,
you just
no, I moved and went back to school full time. So I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
I'm done. Like and that was it. Um, yeah.
But
So
but there's something about, instead of getting back to it once you had free time again, the like newer version of the game, but now the promise of it's just like when you were super into it is enough of a draw.
yeah. Well, I mean, I tried to get into the game. I've bought a couple of the expansions, but one, I had lost track of people, and two,
Yeah.
like I just couldn't. I tried playing the game, and it just was there was nothing appealing about it to me anymore.
Mm-mm.
Um, and so when they announced that Classic was coming out, I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." Um, but I still wasn't necessarily planning on playing it. But it wasn't until sometime over the summer where, when I stopped playing the game, that was also like when I first got onto Facebook. Like so I think relatively early days of Facebook. And so like I only knew like two people on Facebook that I played the game with. And so it's not like I knew where any of these people were. Like I didn't know where any of these people were, but somehow some people got connected to each other, and a community started to grow on Facebook over the summer. And so it got me in touch with some people that I had known. I had actually met some of these people in person, actually, at playing the game. So I lived in Delaware at the time.
That's right.
There was a group of people up in Pennsylvania, like Allentown, that I played with, and we actually met up at a Dave and Buster's in Philly. But they were so young, I had to get them into the Dave and Buster's.
Oh
So they
wow.
were not 21. they drove there, so they must have been, I don't know, in like late high school or something like
Sure. But I
Um,
remember that
Yeah.
in the early days of the CAG meetup that was always like, hey, if you're under
yeah,
21, we'll get you in, or whatever.
right. And so now, these people are married and have kids and all of that stuff, so it's just kind of amusing to me. But anyways, yeah, so I've been playing that game. I hit level, I don't know, 54 the other day. Level cap is 60. I've been putting a pretty good amount of time into that game, just, enjoying it. I know a lot of people are like, well, that game is, people are going to play that game and realize how difficult it was, you know, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
And
they
they're
might.
not, and they're not gonna like the changes and how challenging it is to play the game when games have evolved over time. MMOs have evolved over time. But it's been still quite popular. I still enjoy it. Obviously, there are frustrations with the game itself. It's certainly not a perfect game. I don't know how long I'll stick with it. We'll see, but it's been taking up a fair amount of my time, and I really enjoy the game. So
It's a nice walk down memory lane.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is actually. Like it's funny because it reminds me of things like back back when you were first playing. I mean, it was the first real. I mean, there were MMOs out there, but it kind of changed the genre, and there were just things that were so intimidating back then when I was playing the game that just like freaked me out. That like now I'm just like, oh, I remember how like scared I was going into this area, and like just what would I do, and being afraid of kind of like all these things around me and whatnot. And now it's just it's very different this the second time around, but it's good to catch up with some people. Good to play the game, and we'll see kind of where it goes. I don't know if I have any thoughts about doing kind of end game content in a really significant way, but we'll see. But that's taken up all my time. I would like to get into Gears 5 because it's on Game Pass Ultimate. And
It's not going anywhere.
yeah. Although I don't think I played it early enough to get the Terminator thing, right? Isn't that over? I don't know. There was some kind
Oh,
of
You
is
have,
it?
Terminator.
you have to play it by what, October 28th to get
Oh, is it
Batista.
October? Oh, okay.
I don't know about the
Yeah,
Terminator
Batista
thing.
was the only thing that I saw that had a time
Oh,
Is
okay.
thing
that
on it.
multiplayer or just the game period?
I'm
I don't
sure it's
even know.
multiplayer. I
Oh,
can't
I've
imagine
only
that it's
played the
just
campaign.
like I don't. How can they just be like, I don't know, Sarah Connor is the main character of the story
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh no,
No.
no, no, no! I meant unlocking it. Like, do you have to play? Does it matter what
Oh,
mode
I
you play
don't.
to unlock it?
I'm
No,
not
that I
sure.
don't know.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
But yeah, no, I would. That has my interest. I have an unopened copy of Link's Awakening somewhere in this room, which I'll
I
get to
didn't
at
pick
some
that up.
point.
I will. I don't know. I
I
can
picked it
wait
up. I didn't open it. We'll see, but I'll probably keep it. Um,
and then sell it
you know,
next year unopened at the at the
nah, it's
GameSpot.
not retro enough. Not retro enough. I didn't bring any Switch games to sell.
Well, not unless it shoots up in price, like shocking, like that Godzilla game that Tiny keeps talking about. That's only
On
like 2 years
PS4.
old. Yeah, that's worth like $100.
Somehow, I
Apparently,
think there's going to be plenty of copies of Link's Awakening around.
what's
Yes,
that
it's
game
not. It's
for
not going up.
Human Fall Flat for the Switch? Apparently, is worth a lot of money. I have that sealed.
Did they? Is that a limited run or something?
Yeah, it's one of those. Or maybe one of the
Nah.
super rare ones that's
Nah.
Yeah,
called super rare.
right.
Yeah,
Um,
I have like looks like I have like 30 Switch games. I don't know, like more
wow.
than I would have thought.
That's a
I
lot.
don't know.
Yeah.
You all
But
keep
yeah,
buying them.
yeah. There's some other games coming out, this year that I have pre-ordered at least placeholders for before my GCU runs out on November
Right.
15th. So,
Yeah, I double
no.
checked. I'm November 2nd.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm right there, upcoming, little
So
over a month.
so I put a placeholder order in today or yesterday for Last of Us Part 2. So
Oh,
that's
did you order that ridiculous LE
no,
edition
no,
or
no,
whatever?
no, no, no,
Because
no.
I looked at the price and I was like, well, that is a significant discount with the GCU.
But if you're not
Yeah.
getting that version, if you're not getting any special version, why pre-order it now anyway? Just out of curiosity.
Oh,
Before my GCU subscription
yeah, just
runs
to
out,
get
Oh,
the
okay.
just
twenty
to get the
percent off.
discount.
Oh, yeah, mine
Yeah.
runs out March 2020. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Wow.
it's coming to an end.
Yeah. So, I want to see, what the Jedi Fallen Order looks like. That comes out later this year. Some other stuff, but we'll see. Depends on how much I'm playing WoW Classic.
All right, Mike, how about you?
So I got the Sega Genesis Mini, arrived Monday, and cracked the thing open and plugged it all in and everything. And I will say the D-pad on the 3-button controllers feels a lot like the D-pad on the 6-button controllers, like the way it moves, not the actual like feel of the edges of it. Like it's still sharp and everything, but it it operates better than the original 3-button Genesis controllers, which I always thought felt like really imprecise and like very like hard. It's like a hard plastic.
I never had a Genesis growing up, so I
Oh,
still
really?
don't have a Genesis. I have ways to play Genesis games, but I never had a Genesis.
I had it for a time along with the Super Nintendo, and
You had
I mean
both. You one of those kids?
I don't know that I had them at the same time. I mean, eventually, yeah, like years later, like when I was in my 20s or whatever. But yeah, at the time, it was like I had the Super Nintendo, I traded, and I got the Genesis, and it's like I sort of swapped them back and forth. I did a lot of trading online back in the day. But anyway, so I poked at a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Tonight, I was like, most of the time that I've put into columns was actually on the Dreamcast emulated version of it, which has terrible sound. So I was like, I'll just see, I don't know that I've ever actually played a version of columns that has like correct sound on it. So I just started playing and everything, and I only played one game, but I played for so long, I was starting to be like, I kind of just want to die. Like,
I want to stop doing this.
like at some point, I was like, I don't know how long I've been playing, but I'm going to see from this point how long it is. And I think from there, I played almost an additional hour.
That's a long time to play.
On
columns.
what? So I got up to level like 77, I think. And it was just kind of like, why am I even playing this game? Like, what am I going to get at? There's no ending, right? I assume. I mean, I'm not beating any like worlds, like I'm not beating Billy Mitchell's high score on the game. Like,
well, even he didn't do that.
right. So like, I don't even know, but I was like, well, I'm not going to stop until I legitimately die. I'm not going to just like drop the controller and walk.
It's better than that version of Tetris on there.
I didn't even try that yet.
So I've been told.
I've heard it's bad, but I don't care.
It's not a good version of Tetris. So
yeah, like the best part about Tetris is the music on the Game Boy or the Nintendo. Like the other versions don't interest me at all.
Did you
playing
Tetris.
Tetris.
Did you get the skin for or the theme or whatever for Tetris 99?
No.
That has the retro Game Boy.
No, I would like to have it in the theoretical sense, but I missed the opportunity. And I just don't like Tetris 99. I'm not interested in that, like playing Tetris in that way.
I like the idea of it. It's innovative for something that's been around for so long.
Oh, it's cool.
I just
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's just not how I want to play. Like to me,
well, there's an offline mode now and some other stuff, but yeah,
it helps. But you gotta like pay extra for it, right?
Yeah, but you would I think also unlock all the skins that they've offered. I think
it's
There's
fine.
skins?
I like it.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But yeah, it's just whatever. So I put I think like an hour and a half or so into a single game of columns on like
So
the
weird.
lowest difficulty, which means that there's only I think 4 gem types. So like you're constantly just accidentally matching 3 like diagonals all the time, and then that drops, and then 7 more collapse, and you get points for it. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, the whole thing is kind of neat.
So, is it the kind of thing where you can just walk into a store and buy one?
The Mini?
Yeah.
I guess. I got it from Amazon. They shipped it in my subscribe and save box, along with all my other like sundries.
Oh, did you have it shipped like on your Prime Day or Amazon?
No, I
Day?
just pre-ordered it like 3 months ago, and this is when they decided to send it.
Mm.
But I opened that box, and I'm not exaggerating at all. Literally every single item in that box was dented, including an entire 36 or 24 pack of energy drinks. Every single can was dented.
Oh man.
I don't know why or how.
That's how you get the discount.
Every box. That's right. That's where the 15% off comes from. they allow employees to take their frustration from Amazon out on the items that get sent via subscribe.
Well, they should. I mean, that just makes common sense.
So the Genesis box was smashed. The trash bags that I got were smashed. All the energy drinks were dented. The jug of Rinse Aid was dented.
Your copy of Smash TV was smashed.
And it was one other thing. I don't remember what it was, but it was like I'm literally opening this up, going like, "This is intentional now, right?" Like even if it's not Amazon, like the UPS guy is just like, "I'll teach you to order heavy stuff."
That's weird.
But yeah. So anyway. Got that, but yeah, like the Genesis Mini's cool. I mean the amount of detail on it, and this has been, everybody's going over this thing, but the fact that they wasted money building that little removable piece on the bottom for the Sega CD that you can buy and physically attach, but it doesn't do anything. It's a piece of plastic. Like the attention to detail for all that is neat. But I also think, if they didn't do all that, they probably could have just sold it for like $10 less.
Did you hear about so the Tower of Power, the Sega CD attachment?
I kind of
Did you know that? Did you hear that if you open it up, there's a little cardboard printed circuit board and a Sonic CD in it?
I saw the pictures and I was like, wow.
That's why I found out about it, because I was listening to the Player One podcast and they mentioned it to Phil, and he had his, so he was determined on the show to rip his open.
Yep.
So that was kind of interesting, but it's also like, I mean, like the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers that have the printed thing. Like, hello like, from Seattle or whatever it said. Yeah. It's just like that's kind of cool and it's cool, but it's also like there's already a circuit board inside. They're just adding a little note to it. Like the way they intend people to have this, no one should ever see that piece of cardboard.
Until we hack it, but yeah, sure.
Which makes it insane, but I mean, like I'm sure when you can add ROMs to this thing, that might be cool, but I don't know. I haven't done that to my Super Nintendo 1 yet, and that's the only other mini that I've got so far. So.
Did any of you guys order the SNES controller from Nintendo?
No, I didn't.
No, because the 8-bit one's fine. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. But I mean, it's sold out right now.
Oh, the new 8-bit dude with the grips. Apparently one of the Amazon warehouse seller has it for $40.
I saw that, but
I was very tempted, but I was like,
I'm good.
I have 2 Pro controllers already. I don't need another.
Yeah. I have 2 Pro
style.
I have one of the Hori ones that's wireless, and then I have a Wii U controller connected to it. Works just fine.
Oh, okay.
Wii U Pro?
A Wii U Pro controller?
Yeah, I use it with the 8-bit do.
With the little brick Mario block looking thing.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. It's a decent controller too, so I might as well get some use out of it.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I really didn't play a whole lot. I did play a few more minutes of Cat Quest and such, and I met the developers of the game in the game.
Oh, okay.
They're characters that you go meet and talk to, and it's actually super weird because it's like they give you like a sort of a test, and then when you complete it, they're like, all right, give us the item that you just won. And then your character's just like, why? I don't want to give it up. And they're like, you ready to die for it?
Nope.
And then there's a whole lot of like back and forth of like the silent ... things. And then they're like, we're just kidding. Who cares? We could just type some code and make another one. So it's a silly, stupid game. But I think I'm pretty close to the end. At this point, not only do I have the ability to walk on water, I can fly. Because I'm a cat with dragon blood, and because that's what the game is. But
the sequel's out too, so you should grab the sequel.
Well, I mean, once I finish it, I'll at least look at it. I don't know, especially if it's as easy as this game. Like, one thing is, I like the fact that it's just you're always going to be progressing. There isn't any. I'm stuck. No, there is no being stuck. Just follow the arrow. It tells you where to go.
Yeah.
The only time there was like anything is at one point there was some branches that blocked you on the main path, but one of the side quests was this is how you learn to fly, and then you can fly over the branches. So it is what it is. I've talked about it a lot before. So anyway, that's really all I've been playing. Aaron, it looks like you played a couple more things than that.
Yeah, so
just a couple though.
Just a couple. Have any of you played Medieval for PS1?
I think I played a demo of it. I think that was one of the games that was like stapled to a Pizza Hut box once.
That sounds about right. So I played the Medieval short-lived demo that's on PS4 now. I don't have that much experience with the original game. I played it briefly. Was never all that wild about it. And this one feels like what the PS1 felt like, but just with better graphics. I don't know.
I mean that's what they said it was, right? It's literally it's not a remake. It's a remaster, right?
Yeah, I mean it looks better. It just I don't know. I guess I don't know what I expected.
I always thought that character looked incredibly stupid.
You mean Sir Daniel Fortescue?
He's got a skull with like no jaw, right?
Yeah, like snaggletooth sort of.
Yeah, and just not like I don't even mean it's stupid like low intelligence, just like it just looked ugly, unappealing. There's nothing about the character or the game ever made me go, yeah, I want to play that.
And I don't want to be too critical of it because Other Ocean worked on it. I'm a friend of the show, Mike Micah, who we're often a fan of his work. I just feel like, I don't know if the demo reflects like poorly on how that, like maybe that demo or that game was made, or it's just, I feel like it's just the game itself, like the way, it just might not be for me.
Yeah.
It felt like, oh, it just feels like that game, which might explain why they haven't done much with the IP in so many years, because
sure. But I mean, I also feel pretty much the same thing about Crash Bandicoot. Like, I just don't care about any of those games.
When did this game first come out?
Medieval?
Like, probably like 97,
98,
okay.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the game. So.
Yeah.
There was 2 of them, right?
Yeah, they made one for PSP, right?
Oh, okay.
I think they did.
So maybe there's 3 then.
Yeah, maybe there's another one for PS1, but I'm not sure.
I thought there was 2 of them on PS1.
I think you're right. So, I mean, it feels like the old game, which I guess that's mission accomplished. It just might not be for me.
Hey, some kids probably had happy memories of playing that game, want to do it again.
You take that back. Let me see. I don't know how much I can talk about this one, but I got a key in for Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and it's no longer a 3D platformer, which was, they made that very clear. It is a 2.5D platformer. I really like it. It definitely, it has that jump around, find stuff, hidden coins, hidden this.
So what are they? What are they? What are they trying to like? Because like obviously the first one is Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes,
like it's bootleg Banjo-Kazooie. Is this
to a fault?
Like, is this one like bootleg like Donkey Kong Country, or is it just kind of like trying to be more like its own thing a little bit?
There is definitely some Donkey Kong Countryness to it. It's not the game I talked about last week, Jet Cave Adventure on the Switch, which is a lot of fun. That one definitely had the Donkey Kong Country hat and wore it prominently. This one has it, but I don't know. It feels a little bit different, but it definitely has it. I say the only thing is I feel like I haven't unlocked like I need more moves. Like you get tonics and things like in the original ukulele to do different things. I need more moves and stuff, but I'm liking it. I find it to be a lot of fun. But I like platformers. It doesn't take I don't know. I'm liking it quite a bit. I was a little taken aback when I saw that it was not going to be a 3D platformer, and I think that was at around E3 time it got announced. I was like, oh man, but nah, I get it now. And the interesting thing is, you can the end level is like the first thing you do. So if you're good enough, you could technically just go right to the end level, which is the first level, and fight capital B. And if you're good enough, you could beat him and beat the game. Or you can go rescue a bunch of the bees in the levels and then come back with much more power and defeat and then make it through the impossible layer much easier. And I guess during E3 time, somebody was interviewing one of the developers from Platonic or is it Playtronic or Platonic? I don't remember. Let's say Playtronic. They said that it was one person on the team who was like good enough to like go back and beat the end boss at the beginning of the game. So that's interesting. I don't know. I like it, but I like platformers. So what are you gonna do? Play more Gears 5. Anybody else playing? I don't know if Ben, you haven't played it. Mike, have you started the
No,
campaign?
I I fired it up. I got to the title screen. I started reading something, and then I realized I was tired, and I went to bed instead.
Yeah. I'm still really enjoying it. I'm on Act 2, which takes place like in like a snow-covered mountain, and you're like on that sled, and it's fun. I just feel like because I made the decision to like do everything, I'm like, why am I still in this snow thing? But it's my own fault. Like I decided to, go to 3 or 4 other different locations and get into like 2 battles in each one instead of just beelining it and just going right for like the main, you know, what do you want to call it? I can't even think. I'm tired. The main goal, the main task at hand. So that's my own fault, but I'm still enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Not, and I don't remember how much they did this in 3 or 4, but just the number of enemies they throw at you, and like how you have to switch things up. Like, obviously it has the pop and the pop and shot thing. You're hiding behind, low barrier. You pop up, you shoot, whatever. But now you have these enemies shooting these things. I think they were in part 4, like these vertical lasers that like they can go over the wall and drop right down on you and still kill you. So you can't really rest on your laurels. You have to really keep it moving and try different weapons, and because it gets nuts. Although I'm at a point now where it's almost like an escort mission. Like Jack is holding this thing, like this energy cell, and it has a health meter. And Jack, like for some reason, sometimes he'll like go past you, and the enemies are just like smacking it, and you almost watching the health lower. So I got to a point where I'm at a checkpoint with 6% on this thing, and like 2 hits, and it blows up, and you have to start over again. And so I'm like, oh, let me go back to the previous checkpoint. So I was either faced like having to do the whole thing again, or suffer through like trying to get to that last piece with 6%.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not playing this. I got to stop. It was just frustrating me. Like I don't like escort missions. I don't like.
Yeah, and the way that's constructed is really bad. It's
Yes.
like if it just reset to 100%, it'd be very easy.
And
But
it would break it essentially. But
yeah, but the way that that's all structured, like they should have the entire escort scenario within like a checkpoint. Like it should be short enough.
It should be, but
something like that to avoid that situation.
Exactly. I wish they did that, but I mean, part of it's on me. Like when I got to like the 3rd section at 6%, I probably should have just gone back once I got to 6%. Because part of it was I was fighting so many enemies, not realizing that Jack and the little energy thing was taking on so much damage. I didn't even know. So I don't know. What else? Play a little bit of Cardpocalypse on the Epic launcher. Plot of that one is a young girl who's in a wheelchair starting at a new school, and all the kids are sort of playing this Pokemon type game. So it's sort of a RPG adventure built around you playing this fake Pokemon type game with other kids.
But this is not a card game.
It's a game, but it's a card game within a game. It's pretty fun. I like it, and you have like dialogue options and stuff. It's pretty neat. I lost my second battle, but whatever. I think you're kind of supposed to. Well, let's go with that. You're supposed to lose. Yeah, yeah. Fight and Rage came out on the Switch, or I think it will be soon. It's a side-scrolling 2D beat 'em up. I don't know. The character I picked. Okay, you're on the character selection screen, and there's like 3 characters. One of them happens to be a female character, and the pose she's in on the character selection screen, she's kicking. So one of her legs is in the air.
Okay.
And maybe it's just me, or maybe I feel like maybe there was too much detail, like around her underwear area. I was like, I don't really need to see like camel toe. Like it's not. Like, this is a pixelated game. Like what are we doing here?
Have you seen Street Fighter?
Yeah, but like, it just seemed excessive.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't. And then like the boob physics and stuff. It's like like if you could like lessen it, it would be like okay, cool. Like if you want to have it all up and down and almost like hitting her in the face, fine. If you don't want that, that's fine too. Anyway, the game is pretty fun. But it so far it seems like it's checking the usual, side-scrolling beat 'em up boxes. So, speaking of that, I need to get back to River City Girls and make some progress in that. So, play a little bit of Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger IX on the Switch. I know those are like games that were sort of the first couple ones were influenced by, I think, the Mega Man X games, Mega Man period, more specifically like Mega Man X, or maybe some of the actual Zero games and stuff. It seems pretty neat. I'll go back to it. You run around, you jump, and you shoot stuff. So, what's not to like? I tried a game called Spin Rhythm XD on Steam, and I was trying to get my controller to work, and I realized that my trackball / mouse works a lot better. So, I don't know. I might play it with that. What else? I know how much you guys love board and card games, so I played some. When I didn't play, I got them in. This game I have called Dungeon Mayhem. Expansion came out to go to 5 and 6 players, so that came in. Maybe get a chance to play it over the weekend with the kids. And then Mike, this one, Splendor.
Sure.
That was half off on Amazon, so I grabbed that one. So
have you played it yet?
No, I've been playing it on my phone and my tablet. I like it quite a bit. So I figured, I figured I would like the analog version as well. So
yeah, it's cool. There's a reasonable amount of strategy and
definitely
choices. So
yeah, I find that I never stick to anything. I just sort of like, I want that one. Oh, I want this one. I want I never. I win sometimes, but when I lose, it's because I just never got focused. Like, I want that car with 3 victory points. Oh, wait a minute, that one has 1 victory point. I can get that now. So I never get the one with 3. So,
yeah.
I don't know. You said you and the wife played it quite a bit at first.
And then we haven't played it in like 2 years now.
But that's kind of how it normally goes anyway. Right?
Yeah, I mean, to this point, I could not play it again without a refresher of the rules.
Okay.
But, yeah, we played a lot. She kept saying like, let's play it again. And
yeah, if you want to play the digital version, let me know. I have it on Steam. Yeah, I have it on Steam and my mobile devices. So,
all right,
it's pretty fun. And what else? Played a game called Hoggy 2. That's up on the site. It's a mobile game that they ported over to the Switch. These aliens come kidnap like your little worm kids, and you're just going through these like puzzle platform levels to save them. It's pretty fun. Controls pretty well. I can see how it could work very well on a mobile platform because you just have like the left and right D-pad buttons. You're not really doing anything intricate. So, and that's it. Oh, I played a little bit more of Aeon's End because I think it just got out of early access on Steam. That's another analog to digital conversion game. It's a co-op where you're all trying to fight and raise your levels and beat one boss who's like, I guess like a timer ticking down when the boss destroys the city. So you want to team up with other people to defeat it before it can do that. Pretty fun. So that's pretty much it for me. All right. There's a couple things here. Mario Kart Tour. That's the name of the mobile game, right?
Take your word for it.
Yeah, that came out today. I played the beta in the summer. It was moderate. It was kind of fun.
Oh, that's why I pulled up Twitter yesterday or something, and Toadette was trending, and I was like, why are people so like jazzed about Mario Kart all of a sudden?
They always
Game's
are.
been out for like a year and a half or better.
Yeah, the
It's
microtransactions.
it's because of this.
They have the audacity to sell like a gold pass, a subscription. It's a subscription service for this mobile game.
Really?
It's called the Gold Pass. So it's a subscription service that allows players to get more in-game rewards in Mario Kart Tour. It's $5 a month. Like that's
I don't
how
know.
much
If
Apple
it's the only
Arcade
game you care about.
costs.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Like,
sure.
I wonder, has Nintendo's like mobile games been reasonably successful? I mean, they have what, Super Mario Run?
I think that was
There's the
profitable, but
Animal Crossing one, right?
there's a Fire Emblem one too, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot all about the Animal Crossing one. I think that one just kind of died.
So, like, I wonder how successful those have been.
Honestly, I
Oh,
think
the
they're
Dr.
profitable.
Mario.
I just think that they
Oh,
get
that's right,
dinged.
Dr. Mario.
Oh yeah, that is all. I think they just get dinged because of they employ like all the worst aspects of mobile games with skins and $5 subscriptions and crap. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't. None of it interests me.
yeah.
It's not my.
I mean, you can play it for
thing.
free. Like the demo was fun. I mean, I'd be on the train playing Mario Kart with one hand. And I think the game was tricking me into thinking I was playing online. I'm like, why do I keep getting first place? I'm not really good at games, and I'm winning. Something is wrong here. So, I don't know. Apple Arcade came out. Well, got announced last week, and now this week, Google announced Google Play Pass, which is very similar.
It feels like a very rushed announcement.
It's funny everybody said that, but apparently, supposedly, someone had sort of leaked it like a year ago. I guess it's been in the works for a while, but yeah, it definitely does seem like, hey, me too, because it's the week after Apple announced theirs. So, and apparently, I guess Apple was paying the devs up front, whereas Google, like, they're like, well, we'll see what works. It's like, what does that mean? What do you mean you'll see what works? Either they can arrange to pay people for the products that they're going to be on your service, or you're not. So.
I mean, I think the biggest issue that I've heard about Apple Arcade is that you can't play music.
Yeah,
like,
on Giant
over
Bomb
the
they were talking
games.
about that, which is nuts.
I know, because I'm like, first of all, I don't really play very many games in general on my phone, but if I do, like, I definitely want to be able to listen to like a podcast or something.
That's what I do on the train when I go to the office.
Yeah, so I mean, I heard all that, and I'm just listening, going like, it's shocking to me that there's so many people that want like multiple sources of stimulant at the same time. Like, I could never listen to a podcast, absorb any information, and be focused on a game. Like,
Really?
There's no way.
Really? Interesting.
Wow.
No.
Well, I mean, to play devil's advocate, you've played games and been conversing with someone before. That's you thinking about the words you're going to say. Isn't that much more concentration than just listening? To some degree?
No. Not if it's related to what we're doing. Like, if it's...
Yeah, but I mean, the rare times we play games online, I feel like we talk about things that have nothing to do with the game that we're playing.
Oh, and usually when that happens, like, I've already lost some focus in what I'm doing. Like, some concentration in what what's going on.
I got you.
But like, yeah, like if I'm playing a game, like I would never be like, oh, I also have to be listening to music or a podcast or something. Like,
On my phone, I have to
Like
be.
the only
That's.
time I've ever been able to do anything, like if I'm playing like online poker,
Mhm.
I can listen to a baseball game at the same time because it doesn't matter what any of the sound effects are in the game. That's like if I don't care about any sound, like any kind of sound effects, music, voices, anything from the game, and it's very repetitive,
Mhm.
maybe. But also, if I don't commute in a fashion like if I'm commuting, I'm driving, which means I'm not playing any games.
I
I'm
hope not.
listening,
Yeah, that might.
and therefore like I can listen. But even if I'm distracted by like I'm thinking about something else while I'm driving, or it's like it's especially like if traffic's nuts or something, like I'm not even listening to the podcast anyway. It's like it's playing, but I'm
Mhm.
no longer absorbing any of the information. So anyway,
Okay.
I'm just saying it's like it's surprising to me that that's such like a desired feature because I would never take advantage of
I
anything
might be
like
overstimulated because oftentimes I will play a game and like have YouTube on. We doing it at the same time. I
that.
do
Yeah,
that all the time.
I can't. I've even tried. I was like the one night, few like a month or so back, whatever it was. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have like some cheesy '80s movie playing in the background while I'm messing with this arcade. It's gonna feel very like authentically '80s or whatever. And I realized I can't concentrate on both things.
We
Like
said the
this is
last
this
Starfighter deserves better.
I was actually hoping I could find that on a streaming service, but I could not. So
Uh,
Spaceballs it was.
well, you know what? Comb the desert. So
I love that movie.
it is funny.
I haven't
Uh,
seen that in a long time.
well, you know what to do. You can watch it while you're doing this podcast.
That's right.
What else? At Games is being sued by Namco apparently for. Well, I guess the part of the backdrop of that one was At Games sent a device supposedly to you all know who John Hancock is,
No.
the immortal John Hancock. He's a collector. He does YouTube videos. He has like 20 plus systems, the like complete collections. It's great. He's a really
Wow.
impressive collection.
Okay.
But he reviewed a device they sent him with like Miss Pac-Man, some stuff on it, and they put the arcade versions on it. So then the retail versions that went out to like more reviewers were not the arcade versions. So his review was like, "Oh, this is a good product," and the other people got their hands on it, were like, first of all, this is not good. Secondly, these aren't even the same versions of the
Why
game."
would there be two different? That
Because
doesn't even make sense.
they wanted his early buzz to be positive,
Oh.
and yeah, it was shady. So apparently they're being sued by Namco for doing some underhanded things.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
I thought you said that guy was being sued.
oh no. It wasn't even his fault. It's like he can't help that they sent him something they had no intention of releasing to retail.
Yeah.
That's pretty crappy though.
But I don't. I mean, at this point, I don't really feel bad for At Games because they haven't delivered a quality product. So
No, and also I'm glad that M2 worked on the Genesis Mini, which I'll get one eventually, but hopefully they'll still be around.
How much is it? $80?
80's the full retail
Yeah.
for the
Apparently
U.S.
Walmart had it for $10 less.
No, they had
With,
it for 10. You could get a 6-button controller for $10.
oh, it
Right.
was
Yeah, it was
more.
bundled for $90. It was the
Oh,
system
Yeah.
okay, I
with a
read it
separate.
wrong.
I saw that, but and actually I was gonna send you a link, Mike, because saw you were interested. But then I realized it's like some I don't know what brand of 6-button controller. So
Oh, the one I saw, I thought was the
it wasn't.
officially licensed one,
I
but
don't. It
I
was
thought it
like
was too.
Innotex or something like that. I don't.
all right. Well, whatever. Well, like with the one that I saw was sold out before I even got there. It doesn't matter because I was able to use that credit from Starlink from Amazon for my pre-order of.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was getting a discount one way or the other anyway.
Okay. Just a quick rundown. Sony did their state of play thing. They showed a trailer for The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know what they could have done to make me, not interested in it, but
I haven't seen the trailer. I don't. At this point, I don't need to see anything.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you probably don't. You're gonna buy it just like I will.
Yeah.
A game called Humanity from Tetsuyo Mizuguchi. It looks interesting. It's an optional VR mode. It's like crowds of people, like you're moving them or manipulating them or something. It looks interesting. They talked about the medieval short-lived demo I talked about earlier, called Modern Warfare. It looks good, but I guess I just don't. This one every year, I don't like. Oh, I'm excited. Like whatever. Uh, I might get it. I don't know. We'll see. Game called Whatum or Wattam, coming out in December of this year, from the creator of Katamari Damacy. So Kita Takahashi. So, and then Civ 6. So people were a little whelmed and underwhelmed by the state of play, feeling like, is that all you got? I don't know. I guess they had to put something out, and they did. So, and then
I didn't watch it.
yeah, I watched. I saw all about it, and I was like, oh, maybe I should watch it. And it's not very long. It's like 20 minutes. And last thing
Oh,
is,
really?
yeah, it's not long. There wasn't much to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, but there's not much for Microsoft to ever talk about, and they
Yeah,
drabble on for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
So.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The Inside Xbox thing. I'm really talking about. We're going to talk about the X Cloud. Oh, okay, great. I'm going to talk about it. And they talked about a beta for running games off their servers. I was anticipating them talking about us being able to turn our Xbox One X's into the servers to stream games over to
Oh
our
no,
phones.
I don't think so. I always thought that
What?
that particular thing that they were trying to peddle was, more like what PlayStation Now does.
Yeah, I signed up. I mean, I registered for it, but I was kind of like, well, I understand why didn't they talk about both things? Because at the E3 they talked about being able to do both. Like I get it, they wanted that's what the service they want to sell. I get all that, but it's like, well, what about the other thing that you hyped up? Like we have all these games on our systems. I mean,
Oh, I thought they already allowed that. I don't
I
know.
don't think you can stream out,
I
over
mean,
a.
like that's nothing I'm ever gonna try, so it doesn't mean anything to me.
I would try it honestly. Oh, I didn't mention I was in the car on the way back from Boston. I was using my Super Famicom 38-bit controller, 8-bit do controller with the phone grip, playing some WWF No Mercy, which runs pretty flawlessly on that thing. I got to tell you, man, it's good times. So, let me some N64 wrestling games. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, I'll leave a link in the show notes. But somebody found a prototype N64 controller with an analog stick that looked much better than the one we got. It's probably more expensive to make, which is why they cheapened out and gave us one that we did have, which served us well, I would say. But the one in the prototype looks a lot better, but also was not mass produced. So,
I mean, because it's not like such a skinny stick or something like that.
Exactly. Better grips on it for your thumb, things like that. So pretty slick.
If it's hard plastic, it's probably still bad. If it doesn't have any rubber on it, I don't know. Seems bizarre.
Yeah. So
it does remind me the rubber on my Elite controller on the right side has completely peeled off now.
Really?
It's amazing. It's an amazing product for such a high price.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
So, having read some reports online, in addition to listening to Dan Reichert say he just walked into a Microsoft store and exchanged it no problem,
Can
I
you
figured,
do that?
figure I'll call the closest Microsoft store to me, which is down at Montgomery Mall, and when the automated thing picks up, it even says, "You may be transferred out of country during this call." I was like, really? I'm calling the Microsoft store in the mall. It's a local, not okay.
Nope.
Well, that's what I got. So when the guy answers and he's clearly from a call center, you can hear all the people in the background, whatever. I said, "Are you physically in the store, the Microsoft store in Bethesda?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, well, here's what I want." And he's like, "Well, if it's within the warranty period, we will exchange it. If it's not, we cannot help you." And then he said something I couldn't quite understand. And I said, what does that even mean? Like asking about the second part. And he just repeated what he said. I said, "Well, look, if you can transfer me to somebody that can help, I'll listen to him." And he puts me on hold, and about 4 minutes later, I'm just like, you know what? This is a waste of time. And I hung up the phone.
Yeah.
So, but like the sad thing is like the third party grips you could buy that snap on and they only replace the outer side. The inner rubber parts, you have to buy a whole shell. So at that point, you're spending about $70 for replacement shell pieces.
No, you're
From,
not.
low. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm either going to just use a regular controller going forward, spray some garbage on the outside of the controller, or just buy another one. I don't know. I haven't decided which way. I'm just gonna use a regular controller for a while and see if I'm fine with that. And if so, so be it.
All right. And on that note, all right, Ben, shout outs, plugs, all that good stuff.
No, I mean, just look forward to seeing people at maybe MagFest or Extra Life in December. That's about it. And hopefully we can find another. Hopefully maybe we have to wait another year for this game swap thing. Maybe we don't.
I thought I heard somebody say that there's one they're thinking of doing in the springtime.
Oh, okay.
Which
Spring cleaning
might be cool.
Yeah,
I mean, there's gifts for gamers in December, but apparently it's on the same weekend that we're going to be doing Extra Life. So,
gotcha. But yeah, no, looking forward to hanging out with people at MagFest and all of those things. And
time is flying. We are old, and the future arrives quickly.
Yep.
These gray hairs are real.
You don't just paint them on every morning just to make yourself look old.
Just pat them and so it's
Oh, you got a powder? You got a powder to make them look
and elixir and unguent. Yeah, How about you, Mike?
I, of course, as always, encourage people who are eligible to donate blood, and for those who have pets, to have them spayed or neutered. And that's it. Yeah, Aaron, what you want to give Tiny's extra important Extra Life, join, donate, be a part, fish for 24 hours.
Fish for 24 hours. Yeah, if you go to GameEnthus.com, you'll see our Extra Life link up there. Or it's also, if you're watching the stream, it's at the top of the stream. You can go there and donate money to your favorite GameEnthus personality. Doesn't matter who you pick. It's all going to a good cause, regardless of what hospital it is or whose campaign you support. I'm not sure what 90 events he's going to be at this weekend, but who knows? Tiny's a busy guy. But, yeah, just...
You still haven't beat that level in
I was playing it today, and I got so close.
Like, how close are you?
Like, I got to, like, a screen before the end. I was so frustrated. Yeah. I've been playing on the gamepad. I'm thinking maybe I'll just play on the TV with the Pro Controller. Maybe that'll help, but who knows? Yeah, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Keon. He had some nice words for I guess that was feedback. I just forgot about it, so I just looked at it. Some kind words for the episode last week. So shout out to Keon. Keon over there at the Analog Circle podcast. Check out his podcast. He's doing some good things over there. If you want to reach out to us, you can always email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. If you want to leave a voicemail, you can always call 202-573-7686. Check out the website. There's more YouTube content that's been going up. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And thank you, Ben, for your time. It's always a pleasure podcasting with you.
Oh, yeah. Always great to be back.
And I do like how you had one game. And you talked about that one game. It was one game.
Well,
I like how you did that.
I spent a lot of time playing that game.
Hey, you like
one game, many hours.
It's any muscle memory stuff come back from playing that, or just
actually there has been some. I mean, in terms of like the different like key bindings and stuff like that. I'm like, I used to have different key bindings. And so it was just like, you just remember like a lot of stuff from, playing a game that much for that many years.
Cool.
So cool might not be the right word for it if you ask my wife, but
oh boy. 40 hours, huh? You're like, yes. 42. So.
But yeah, but you know, definitely a nice bit of nostalgia, and we'll see, where it goes from there.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's gonna do it for us for this week. Anybody have any final words?
Well, you said maybe not next week.
No, definitely. Well, we could do it. It just wouldn't be Wednesday. We
Oh,
should do it
oh
Thursday.
well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could
Isn't
be.
Thursday your normal day?
Seems
I've
like
been
it has been
trying to do it Wednesday as of late though. Have we been doing Wednesday for a while?
a couple of weeks. I don't know.
Oh, we did Thursday last week, but yeah,
No, hey,
For some
whatever.
reason, I always thought Thursday was your normal
it
day.
it was for a long time. But I've been trying to do more Wednesdays though. But for selfish reasons, of course. I mean, why else? Why do anything? Not for selfish reasons. Anyway, I'm rambling. Uh, thank you both for your time. For the one or two folks who jumped into the chat or the stream, appreciate it. And we're gonna get out of here. That's the show. Ben, we're actually right outside your house. We're coming in right now.
I will be right there.
We expect a beverage and some sort of bread product that is warm.
And a trash bag full of unsold items.
Well, obviously, yes, a trash bag for unsold items. Yeah.
Although now it's in a plastic box.
I guess.
So
It won't be there long. I will come get it shortly.
that's fine. It's not like, I got plenty of other stuff in this house.
Gotcha. All right. We're out of here.